Well, hey, I'm Uncle Jay.
I'm Kev.
That must make this a free fly. Dude, welcome home. About time we
Oh,
got one of these going.
yeah. I think we deserve a few people at least, you know, I don't know. I gotta do this again.
Yeah, they deserve the wit and wisdom of Kev. Now,
Yes, they
dude,
do.
you look to be in a prison cell. Where you at, man?
I'm currently in Fort Knox, Kentucky, at the Warrior.
Incarcerated.
Not, yeah, sort of. Um, I messed my shoulder up in Iraq and lifting and then sun tanning and well, they're gonna fix it for me.
Oh, that's nice of them. You gotta love the army, man. I heard they're
Yeah,
treating you well.
yeah. It's an amazing system that they have set up here of treating soldiers that have served their countries with relative distinction and honor, sort of like prisoners, sort of.
Yeah,
But
well, I mean, they got all the accoutrement.
well, it's a room. I got internet.
Yeah, right on.
I can
Apparently.
exist. I can exist.
Yeah, there you
So
go.
it's not too bad. I mean, the minor things that people might get upset about, morale issues. I mean, the the first sergeant, sergeant majors, they can figure that all out.
The random room inspections, man. I heard you're really enjoying those.
I mean, I understand that I understand. I mean, they could they don't need to really inspect the room while I'm in it, but hey, we got to make sure guys aren't dead and not abusing their drugs and living like swine, I guess. But I
Oh,
guess
there you
what I have a staff sergeant roommate, and I'm a staff sergeant. You figure they just knock on the door and say, "Hey, you staff sergeants okay?" Yeah,
go.
we're
Yeah,
okay.
we're
But no,
fine.
they come in and make some smart ass comments and leave.
Oh, it's beautiful. Well, anyhow,
Yeah,
dude, we got fun stuff going on in Afghanistan.
yeah, yeah,
Got the Marines unleashed in Marja.
yeah. And once again, what the Taliban decided, they had a 3-2 advantage, and they needed to pull back and use some human shields and kids and whatever they could throw at the Marines to slow them down. Uh, if I was if I was part of the Taliban, setting aside all the viciousness they do towards children, throwing acid in schoolgirls' eyes, stuff like that. If they got away from that, I could probably deal with some of the crap they do, because how else would you fight the greatest force in the world? I mean, they lose at 10-1, they lose at 15-1. I mean, yes, we do encounter some losses, but I mean, right now they're fighting the only war they can fight against us. I mean, other than lay down and unsubmit to Allah, I guess.
Yeah, no, dude, I said it before. As much crap as I may give the Marines, I wouldn't fight them.
I no, I it'd be like taking a kickoff in a football game by yourself and running into the whole Packer team or the whole NFL itself. I
Yeah,
mean, your chances are zero. So this war, this isn't a war of attrition as we're losing children, but I mean of upsetting the U.S. populace is, I don't know if it's going to work for them or not, because we seem pretty steadfast, especially with the Taliban's continued brutality against civilians,
yeah. I mean, that does make them kind of hard to support and love.
or yeah, sympathize with whatsoever. But in in views of how they're fighting, I mean, I can't blame them for using the tactics that they're using, because fuck, what are their options?
No, I hear you. Well, the question I think really is, are we going to keep it up? I mean, the idea now is they're going to install this puppet government, or I shouldn't call it a puppet government. They're going to install a government in Marja once they clear. The question is that, I mean, do they have a prayer of actually governing? I mean, that's what it boils down to.
Well, you know, if you take the two conflicts in the Middle East that the United States are involved with right now, Iraq and Afghanistan. I recently back from Iraq, I saw a tremendous amount of progress made from the first time I was there, just within the Iraqi troops and the Iraqi leaders and the Iraqi people. I mean, there was a lot more business going on in outlying areas, a lot more shops open when we drive through. I mean, there's always that threat of IED and threat of ambush, but it just seemed a lot less. Let's see, I personally was IED'd 6-7 times. The first time I was over in our battalion was hit probably 1,000, where this time 0.
Yeah.
I mean,
dude, I used to think that was the good report when you holler at me on Skype or whatever and tell me you were bored to tears.
mm-hmm.
You know, I mean, that's a sign that things are going well in Iraq.
But the terrain in Iraq allows that. I mean, I believe it's just going to be a little more protracted with the terrain in Afghanistan. I mean, you can set up a government, but these guys can continue to come out of the mountains and out of the valleys and out of the shit boxes that they live in, and continue to put pressure on the governments that are there. So, I mean, we want, obviously, I don't know if I don't know if we can do what we did in Iraq either with the Sons of Iraq.
Right.
I don't know if there is that option open even.
Because that was kind of organic. They grew that themselves, but it grew again out of the brutality of the Al Qaeda and other folks there were doing against their own people. So,
right.
You know, if you get to the point where the local leaders are disgusted enough that they say, you know, even though we would be siding with the Crusaders, you know, siding with the occupying forces, it's better than, like you said, having, you know, acid thrown in our girls' faces, better than having our folks slaughtered at night. So, you know, it's possible, but I think you're right. It's more of a tribe by tribe, valley by valley thing just because it's so fragmented.
And they can, you know, let's say one area, one village decides, hey, you know, the you know, not so much the West, but, you know, this is a little safer, this is, you know, a little better for our people. They just shift over to another valley, another mountain, and they continue to fight out of there, and it's going to be that kind of a fight for a while. And I don't know if we're going to, the people of the United States will have the stomach for it. I mean, I believe that they do, especially with the atrocities that the Taliban continue to do to the people of Afghanistan. So it's going to be interesting to see how we're going to do this. And I don't believe that our government or our armed forces are going to quit, but I mean, are the people of America going to be able to handle this?
That's funny. Actually, there was a diary in the Daily Kos, cesspool that it is, supporting Obama killing civilians in Afghanistan because it's his war now.
Well,
you
yeah,
know, they're willing to get behind it.
Of course they are. I mean, it's this, you know, and this is where I thought Obama did a fantastic job. And I mean, I'm not a big supporter of Obama's policy, but you know, he did the right thing in creating this continuity between George Bush or George Bush's administration, his administration, leaving Robert Gates in charge as Secretary of Defense, leaving General Petraeus there, General Odierno in Iraq, and this continuity that's going through, and obviously when General McChrystal asked for those additional forces, of course there has to be a hem and haw by the executive. There has to be by the executive branch, because
it didn't need to last 5 months.
it didn't need to last 5 months, but I mean there always is some jockeying, there's always some politicking, and it's his government, and it's a people's government, but he's running it, and there's going to be some politicking, and it's unfortunate that we just can't say, hey, all right, we're out of Iraq, everybody jump on Afghanistan, everybody gets a valley. We don't have those kinds of forces. Right. We just don't.
No.
We don't have the SF forces to go up into the mountains and do what their job is to get with the people. We don't have the civil affairs people to do it. And we don't have the protection to do that valley by valley by valley at this particular point.
Right.
And it's just going to be a slow process. But what's our alternative?
Yeah.
Our
To leave.
alternative
Yeah.
is to leave, and I don't think that the Afghanis are at the point where they can turn back the tide on this. And I think they would just lose ground, and then the Taliban, in even more crazy ass form, would take over, and we'd be dealing with this issue again. Maybe we can get them all grouped up again, and we do this all over again in 15 years.
I vote no, man. I vote no.
I don't think that's a good plan either.
Yeah.
But you see with obviously Pakistan has brought in some people. Pakistan's working their side of the border, and the footprint for the fucking Taliban is going to get a little bit smaller. And everybody has to pardon my language because
we miss it, man.
I don't have a filter at this particular point in place. So fucking A, Ma. Great potatoes.
Yeah, both our moms already know that that's gonna happen. Well, hey, dude. Like I said, welcome back. Glad you're back. Enjoy Fort Knox for the next couple of days.
I do have one more little topic here, and I don't know if it's a topic that I can really I am going to bring out anyway, because what the hell. Hey, it's a Freefly. I can do whatever the frick I want. I'm reading here on the internet that top general, gays should be allowed in the military, openly allowed.
Is he coming out?
No.
You're talking about Odierno, right?
I'm talking about General Odierno, and he, I think that he sees as well. I think I see as well. I'd rather. Bottom line, I sit around a lot of old guys around here that are completely against the don't ask, don't tell being lifted. But bottom line, I'd prefer to have, like I've said this before, I'd take 10 good gay soldiers over 10 retarded straight soldiers. And the military now has become androgynous. It's not the military of. It is. It has. I mean,
everybody wears the same clothes. You can't tell anybody apart.
It's asexual. You're not supposed to, you're not supposed to talk about sex in the workplace. You're not supposed to hang up, girly pictures. There is no pin-up girls anymore of World War II. There's no cadence calling that might be construed as sexist or
entertaining at all.
Entertaining at all. And that's the path that we're down right now, because that does affect readiness, and it did affect the females. So who really gives a shit what a guy does at home? As long as you're there to do your job and do it well, that's all should be that all really should matters. And seeing as we're all wearing my favorite reflective belt everywhere, and I have made a tie between in the only way that I can make a tie, just to get away from this subject, because I think this horse is going to be beat to death over the next year anyway. But the reflective belt, I don't have mine on right now, but hold on, let me grab it real quick, just so that I'm in a safe place. Just give me 1 second, folks.
I hate for you to get run the hell over in your barracks prison room.
Now,
the most important piece of gear you own.
Now, I don't know if I'm going to lay any of the progress made in Iraq at the feet of the generals, or for having good battlefield tactics, but I think, and I'm pretty sure, if you look at this data, number of attacks that have on U.S. forces in Iraq have dropped significantly since we started wearing the reflective belt.
You'd think it would be the other way around. They'd be able to see you better, but no, they're scared, huh?
And what the thing is, I just think that with the reflective belt on, you're just a little more safe, and therefore reflective belt should be worn by everybody in the United States, and therefore we are no longer a threat from a terrorist. Had
Wow.
the trade towers been wrapped in reflective belt, we would not be dealing with this issue right now.
So Homeland Security should issue reflective belts to all Americans, and then we could just disband the CIA and the rest of us, just let it go.
Military, the whole world.
Wow.
If everybody was wearing one of these, there'd be no famine, no pestilence, war, death, global warming. I don't know. You wrap the planet in this thing, and
Hey,
it's
there you
over.
go.
It has not, obviously it has nothing to do with climate or the sun. Think about it. Reflective belts reflecting the sun's rays. I think so.
You may be onto something, dude. You didn't happen to buy stock in some reflective vest company, did you?
No, but somebody did. I just quick story. I'm in Iraq. I'm in the PX in Balat, and I know this ridiculous thing is part of the PT uniform, but the whole point behind this is safety. If you're outside of a building and you happen to be walking down the road, not paying attention to anything because we don't teach our soldiers to do that anymore, but for some reason. And it saves your life, great. But inside of a building, seriously,
Yeah.
they can get bent on this one. I watched a master sergeant in ACUs, which is by itself a reflective uniform, sort of, because it glows like it.
Not very camouflaged.
Oh, well, on a sofa, that one guy had a pretty good camouflage. It works great, but. He's dressing down a soldier that had taken off this little gem of a safety product that the United States government has forced on us, and he's dressing him down, saying that you're not in uniform, and the kid's just like, our Roger Master Sergeant, I'm afraid a truck might hit me in here, so
in the hallway.
They've got to get a hold on this. I mean, seriously.
It's good to know, though, that the military has such a focus on safety. I feel better already. Dude, I'm going to go get one.
I'm telling you right now, had everybody wear one of these, we wouldn't have any issues because people would be walking around, why the fuck are we wearing these, and would not think about anything else other than this.
There you have it. The world is a better place due to reflective belts. Right on. Well, hey, I'm Uncle Jay.
I'm Kev.
And this was a long-awaited Freefly. We'll be doing more. Hell, we got to actually get back to Madison and do one at Wando's.
Fuck Wando's.
We can do one wherever. All right, man. Hey, enjoy Fort Knox, brother.
All right, brother. Take it easy.
Later.